In 2019, the story of the sequel trilogy will be concluded. But the question is, where do Disney go after that? Previously, each trilogy of Star Wars was separated by a fairly long time gap, and that meant that characters from the previous trilogy were much older in the follow-up. For example, Obi-Wan Kenobi goes from young to old from the prequels to the original trilogy. Every single Star Wars trilogy so far has gone by this rule, and we can only assume that Disney will follow this trend. However, I doubt Disney would wait, say, another 10 or 20 years to continue the Star Wars saga. That would mean 10 or 20 years of only spin-off films, and although that may not seem too bad for us major fans, casual fans of the series will eventually pick and choose what spin-off film they want to see, considering the fact that you don't need to watch all of them to understand the rest. This is a big problem for Disney, as their main goal is to make profit. If people don't go and see every single Star Wars spin-off, they will stop making money, or at least as much money. On the other hand, the audience has no choice but to watch every single episode of the main saga, so they can understand the story for future installments. So I really don't believe Disney has the guts to wait 10 or 20 years to see their actors age. I just can't see it happening. So, what options do they have so that they can create a new trilogy for the main saga almost immediately? Well, first off, they could just continue the story with not much of a time gap at all. Say 4 or 5 months. That way, the actors don't have to age at all. This new trilogy would probably have to be set up in the previous one though, due to how close in time it is. Maybe there's a cliffhanger at the end of episode 9, where Snoke escapes with Kylo? I don't know, something along those lines would work, but personally, I would prefer if they kept to the original formula. Now, this next option Disney could go for is probably the most expensive, but it would be the most effective. What if they made Finn, Rey, Poe, and whoever else survived the trilogy, and used makeup and CGI to make them resemble older characters, and just pretend there was a 20-year time gap? If Disney doesn't want to wait, then this seems like the best option. Sure, we have all had a bad taste in our mouths from the CG-heavy prequel trilogy, but this wouldn't be such a big deal. I've seen this method being used in a film before, although I can't recall which one it was. Whatever. All I do remember is that it was seamless. You couldn't even tell the guy looks young in reality. And the final method Disney could go with, which is probably both the most controversial and unique, is to kill all the characters in episode 9. Maybe Maz Kanata, Snoke, and the rest of the non-aging characters can live, but Rey, Finn, and the others will all be dead. This is very unlikely to happen, as someone, I can't recall who, stated that the trilogy would be wrapped up with a happy ending. So, don't cross your fingers for this one. Anyway, that's all I've got. Tell me down there in the comments section, what do you think will happen after the sequel trilogy is concluded? That's all for now. Goodbye.